Hi, I'm Alicia, and today I would like to show you how to print the vendor's item code and description on a purchase order. Before we get started though, let's talk about the best practice in regards to purchase orders and items. Some companies that I've worked with want to use the vendor's item code as their item code, and we try to discourage that because it's not a best practice. And the reason it's not a best practice is because if you have the same item that you're buying from one company today, it could be that tomorrow you can also buy it from another vendor. Well, now all of a sudden you have two vendor item codes for really the same thing. And it's just not a best practice, especially if you're doing anything around manufacturing where you have bills of material and those kinds of things, because then you're constantly updating your bills of material or doing substitutions on your production orders. So as a rule of thumb, it's best to create your own internal item code, and then use the vendor item code configuration to actually print the vendor's item code on the purchase order. So I want to take you through that today so you can get an understanding of how it works. It's very simple, and hopefully you'll get some benefit from this. So I'm going to go into D365, and again, I'm just in release products. So to navigate there, we go into product information management, products, and then release products. And I have created an item code here called tubes, just as an example. In the ribbon section, you'll notice if you go under purchase, there's something called related information, and this is going to be external item description. This is where you're actually going to add the different vendor codes, or you could do it by vendor group if you wanted as well. So in this example, I'm saying if I'm buying it from this vendor, I want this to be the item code for that vendor, the description, and the external item text. So, and again, you can have as many here as you want for the different vendors. Totally up to you. So you can add as many as you need. So that's a setup on the item. The other configurations that you want to do are in form setup. So again, to navigate there, you go under procurement and sourcing, and then forms, and then form setup. And this is where you're going to see under the general section, it says item numbers and forms. So here you can say ours, which would be, in my case, tubes. Or we could say yours, which would be the vendors, or both. So in this example, I have it set up for both. Under description, you notice it says include both name and description. So that's going to be the item name and that extended text that I have. So if we click back over here and go under external item description, that would be really all three of these fields. And then here it says external item description. We can either append it or override. I have it to append, so that means it's going to print our description as well as the vendors. When we go do a purchase order with this configuration, so if I go over here to my purchase order, I created a purchase order already, so you can see this. Let's just make a new one. Let's see, here I am in the wrong spot, so let's go back into purchase orders. And we're going to click new, and I'm going to give it that specific vendor. And now I'm going to do tubes. And we're just going to say, $15. We have one of those. A couple things to notice: if you go down here under the line details, general, you can see the text here. You can also personalize the screen. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can personalize the screen and put in the external item code, so that way when you look at the purchase order, you can see our item code and theirs. I'm going to now confirm this purchase order and print it for you so you can see. And so we're going to print the purchase order. Okay. And now what you're going to notice is that it's going to print both. But again, it's printing both because of the form setup. If I just wanted to print ours, then I could. Or if I just wanted to print theirs, I could. And hopefully it will print here. While that's going, I did one just a second ago. I can show you the one that I did already because that one's taking a minute. Let's see. Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. Well, it's taking its good old time. So it is, our vendor is 1001. I don't know what my number was. Okay, it was probably this one. And if I go over here to order confirmations and then print and then original preview, I just want you to see where it prints at. That's really my objective, is so you can see what it looks like and where it actually prints. Let's see, this one's still turning too. All right, here we go. So this, see, my item code was called tubes. So tubes and tubes. And then this is the vendors. You can see I put that there on purpose. So this is the vendor's text. And again, that goes to here. And then we have the quantity and the site and the warehouse. And then we have this external item code, which again came from here. One other quick thing before I go too far, this one finally printed as well, so you can see it's got the same information on it. You'll notice here that I have the site and the warehouse. If you ever want to change that information, it is under form setup, and you can go over here and change like what information prints. It's actually under procurement sourcing, and then forms and form setup. You can control what actually prints. So in this particular one, it looks like I don't even have that set up, but it printed on there. Oh yeah, here it is. So see, confirmation, we have site and warehouse. So that's why on here it printed the site and warehouse. So just be aware that this form setup's here. It's got a lot of good information in it that's really easy to overlook. But again, you can have the vendor's item code set up on the item. And then when you print, you can control whether it prints your item code and description or both. So I hope this is helpful.